Welcome, everyone. I want to introduce y'all to our guest, Ursula. I'm going to read her bio real quick. Ursula is a first generation Mexican American wife, mother of two, a former corporate artist, and founder of Soleil Vida Studio, translating to Sunny Life. And it encapsulates Ursula's vision for a community of mujeres who invest emotionally in their inner growth. She was inspired by the strong women in her life who use their handmade crafts as a form of expression and livelihood. Ursula's DIY craft workshop focuses on positive self-talk, inner empowerment, and mind-body connection. It sounds amazing. Through these workshops, of course, she aims to guide others toward self-love and authenticity. The studio's name reflects Ursula's aspiration for a generation of empowered mujeres, radiating self-love and creativity, embodying a balanced and vibrant life. Wow. Welcome, Ursula. Thank you for being here with us.
Yes, thank you for having me on the podcast. I feel extremely honored.
Yeah. So I know that the focus of the podcast is on Latine ADHD. And I just feel so excited that I have you because you are another jefa, right? And being and I wore my jefa necklace today because I was like, oh, I got a jefa today.
Love it.
I want to be able to understand your journey with ADHD, when you were diagnosed, how old you were, and what led you to want to get a diagnosis.
Yeah, so I'd like to actually take it a little step back because
Go for it.
COVID hit. So COVID hits. To give you a little background, COVID hits. I'm a full-time employee, married. I have my almost 2-year-old daughter. And I didn't realize I had anxiety my whole life. COVID really did a number on me, as it did many of us. And so when I was in that space of like bubbling here at home, like we're all like staying safe, I realized my anxiety was so high and I was able to put a name to it. I was like, I have anxiety. And then the more I was in discovery of that, I was able to realize that I actually had anxiety my whole life. I actually had been living in survival mode, and I still was. Obviously, we were all living in survival mode. And so what did I do? Did I necessarily start therapy and do all the good things? No, not yet. At that moment, I basically put my head down. I was working remote. I was a high achieving corporate associate, raising my hand. What else can I get? Project wise, give me more, fill my cup, as I'm also pregnant with my second child.
Wow.
And pregnant, stay at home mom, full-time employee, and overachieving at that, being that perfectionist person with this enormous amount of anxiety. That's what unfortunately led to my break. I started to manifest it internally, meaning my body started breaking down physically. And so I began to have, whether it's gastrointestinal issues or just issues of the body, which they played off, oh, it's because you're pregnant. Eventually my son comes earthside, and then it's, nope, that was not it. So the more I was looking for answers, whether that's with doctor appointments, like what's going on with my body, what's going on with my body, I can't sleep, anxiousness, excessive overwhelm. And that's what, here comes Instagram. I know TikTok too was doing it, but I start seeing things on feeds, right? I start seeing, oh, if you have this, or are you like this, then you have ADHD. Or maybe not, do you have it, but maybe get diagnosed. And so I was like, okay, this resonated with me. It's 2 a.m. at night, I can't sleep, right? And I'm just like scrolling, and I'm like, this resonates. And so that's what kind of began that journey. So I love research. I love knowledge. I love all that. And so I started going down the rabbit hole and learning. And there was this site, I don't even remember which one. And it was all these, take the quiz, and there was this one, and it's here, get an appointment in your area. And thankfully, we had good health insurance at the time. And I had the privilege to be able to get in with a psychiatrist to get all the testing done. And
Yeah.
so this is October 2022. I
Okay.
was 35, going on 36 years old, getting a diagnosis. I actually got on the call with the doctor and she gave me the diagnosis there on the phone while I was like on lunch break at work
Mm.
in the office by then. And I was just like, okay, I knew it, right? I don't know. There's something about it that you just know. You just,
Mm.
when you connect to some, and just having found that out was game changing. And so what then happened with the knowledge of that is I basically broke down. I
Yeah.
actually was so validated to know I had ADHD. I
Mm.
was like, I was so happy to know I had this community. I had reason as to why I was who I was. And it was beautiful, but it came with a lot of other things as well. And because I had anxiety, I was an overachieving, masked individual. So I had the mask on of a perfectionist, of an overachiever. So you could not, I was not late to the meetings necessarily. Like one of the attributes, I'm not late because, oh, I have so much anxiety. I do
Mm.
whatever I can to get me there on time.
Yeah.
So with the diagnosis at that age, I have my two little toddlers, my husband, my body's still breaking down. I now know this. I have a panic attack, anxiety attack. And the more that my body was doing this, I just knew I had to rest and take a break.
Mm.
My diagnosis came after reviewing, okay, I have anxiety. This is what it is. This
Mm.
is my whole life's journey. And that was revealed to me through discovery. And then the mask comes off
Mm.
because now I'm allowed to be myself. In a way, I give myself grace. I can be real and authentic to myself. And so that then leads me into the journey of self-discovery and more things.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing with us about your journey. The pandemic really did a number on all of
Mhm.
us. And in
Mhm.
particular, when you're navigating your work, motherhood, and then on top of that, you notice your physical symptoms are starting to impact you, and then you're trying to figure out what's happening, and that often
Mhm.
our body tells us there's something going on in the inside. And
Mhm.
I appreciate how you bring up that yes, there's this privilege that we have for being able to access insurance and being able then to get that support and clarity around, is there a mental health diagnosis to help understand what's going on the inside, and then getting that clarity and being able to take off the mask. Because so often with ADHD, it is about molding yourself or accommodating to this society that wasn't built for people with ADHD, especially when I think about the corporate world. It's really hard. And I'm hopeful that there will be changes, and that there are
Mhm.
things being implemented. So I'm curious, with this journey of ADHD, how has it played a role in shaping your entrepreneurial journey?
So that is exactly what happened was I'm at my corporate job. I'm having physical manifestations of anxiety and it's the panic attacks that are hitting. I'm in
Yeah.
office. I can no longer function at this point, October 2022. I could no longer go into work. I could no longer get out of bed. I could no longer do that thing. So, yes, the corporate world gave me so many things. It taught me so many things. I was 8 years with Michael's Arts and Crafts at that time. And they actually gave me some time. They're like, please, I go in and I
Mm.
give my 2 weeks notice. I'm like, I'm out. I got diagnosed. And with that same month, I put in my two
Mm.
weeks. Now they're very kind. They're like, please take some personal leave. So I did that, but I still realized like at the end of it, that wasn't enough time, right? I needed time to rest. I
Mm.
needed time for introspection, to look back at what I call my inner Mija, my childlike self, my inner child. Look back at her, take a moment to love on her for what she endured. Not only the anxiety, but the ADHD and all the
Mm.
symptoms that we didn't know were ADHD, linked to ADHD. And now I just needed that break. So I take the break. Thankfully, I had that support with my husband. I had that, again, privilege to be able to leave my job. And in that time, unfortunately, it did lead to some depression. You start grieving what it is that you maybe endured in general, and then what it is that you're having to leave behind this shell of an individual that kept you safe, that helped you survive. But now it's, I don't have to do that anymore. So through the introspection, coming to myself, meeting, rediscovering my inner Mija through the healing power creativity. So for me, that was drawing, creating artwork. And as I was an artist from birth, basically. So coming back to myself and discovering my inner Mija. And then from there, I use like art to heal. So through creativity, I also knew that I needed to start therapy. So I immediately began weekly therapy sessions. I kept discovering about myself and what ADHD looked like for me. So writing, journaling. So these were things that I had to do. So that basically started, like you asked, the entrepreneur journey, that kind of started it. So one, rest. Okay. You've been in corporate for so long, you need that decompression time sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And thankfully, I was able to build myself up and out of the depression. And then, okay, look around. What is it that I'm going to do now? Am I going to go back to corporate, to the 9 to 5? Am I going to assimilate to societal norms? Is that what I want my life to be? Is that what I want to model to my 2 children? No. And that continual therapy and discovery, I then realized, ever since I was a little girl, I wanted to be my own boss. I wanted to be an owner, a jefa. I wanted to own my small business.
Yeah.
Again, I discovered my inner Mija. I went back to her and I was like, hey, hi. Oh, yeah, I remember this. I remember I wanted to own my own shop one day, my little rincon somewhere, little chiquito something just to myself to have. I'm like, okay, then what does that look like? And it literally, my aha moment literally happened right before a therapy session. I just went crazy, wrote and wrote and wrote my mission, my vision, my statements, my value statements.
That hyper focus came through.
Yeah, that's like crazy, right?
Yeah.
And of course, like minutes before I'm supposed to be in therapy, as it is with a lot of us, right? We're just procrastinators by heart, but it's actually one of the most wonderful things too. And so hyper focus, get everything out. I see my branching of, okay, Soleil Vida Studio, which the name came because if my second child was a girl, she would be named Soleil Vida, but it was a boy, which I'm very thankful for, actually. And so then I was like, oh, my third child.
That's right. Yes. So many of us look at our businesses as our babies.
Yes. And that's what it was. And it came to me because I was allowing myself to not think about the limitation. Oh, I need money. And we do, but I was no longer in survival mode. So why did I have to live in those moments? I can let that go and I can visualize what is it that I want. And so that's exactly what happened. And it was beautiful. And that's what led me to this entrepreneur journey and why I'm in business today.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm so glad to hear that you were able to take the time to reflect on what was your inner Mija needing, being able to remember a time where you knew all along that you wanted to start your own business, your own shop. And then even though it did feel like it took so much for you to have to like then leave the job and then just have this rediscovery of yourself and really getting in touch with what you were needing, what you were wanting. It sounds like it was a tough, but also very beautiful moment. And often that's how growth is, right? Is like we often grow during the most challenging times in our lives.
As the storm approaches, right? Then after the rain, we can flourish. and we can
Yeah.
grow. But like,
Yes.
why do I have to be in the storm? Sometimes you think that,
I
oh, why does that
know.
start
When you're
right
in it, you're just
now?
like, when is the storm over? I know that
Yes,
it's like there's always some meaning behind it, but it's hard in the moment. In
yes,
the moment, we're just needing
yeah,
validation. We're just needing, yeah, this sucks. And hopefully
yeah,
we will get through it
yeah,
because
yeah,
one thing that is
yeah,
guaranteed is that change comes. And
yes.
so I'm curious how your business has changed since the moment
Mhm.
you had started to brainstorm, right? The mission, the
Yeah.
values. What, as it's evolved, what have you noticed has been one of the biggest challenges you've faced in managing your business while living with ADHD? And maybe what's some strategies that you use to navigate these challenges?
Yes, yes. So definitely it has evolved. And that's the beautiful part. And that's what I chose to accept is that the pivot is okay. The passion projects are okay. And so in the growth initially, okay, I have a few, I'm very visual. I like to create these charts. So I have these charts and it's like, okay, so Soleil Vida's in the middle, then sprouting out are okay, I can have a DIY workshops in person. I can have eventually virtual. I can create because I am a designer, I can work with vendors, which is actually a part of my business is I work with vendors overseas in China that then I provide design work to them for companies like Michael's Arts and Crafts, which yes, I'm still working for and
Mhm.
well alongside them. And then for Target, other companies like this that I get to still design. So I still can, do trend, do design work like physical product, like pillows, for example. So that's something that is a branch. So then I got my DIY workshops and then I'm like, but I have so much more. As ADHDers, we have so many ideas. So it
Yep.
does become overwhelming. And so that's
Mhm.
one of the biggest challenges is I have this plenitude of like branches and ideas of what Soleil Vida can be, will be, but it's overwhelmed. Number one, whoo, too many ideas, greatness. And then overwhelmed because how do I achieve that? How do I get to those things? Because I'm only one person. And that's the thing with ADHD, we are super powerful when we hyper focus, but we also need that rest and we need to cocoon
Yeah.
and we need
Mhm.
that time to recoup. We can't do it all. Let's just be real as humans, right? So
Yeah.
one of the things so that the challenge overwhelm and just too many ideas and then what do I do about it? Okay, first of all, my biggest mission here is to build a support system on mujeres, to build up community. And
Mm.
so utilizing that same tactic, I then am able to know, first of all, I need to create this community. I need to delegate tasks. I need to give opportunity. So, like, I have a VA, a virtual assistant. She is a Latina. I have a CPA, female. I have lawyers, also Latina female jefas. Like, I have built systems. I have built a community that's helping me to pursue my goals because they're passionate and legality and you have your degree. That's your passion. That's not mine. So why am I the one looking up how to do these contracts, which I did. Okay, you start off, you got no money and you're doing,
Yeah.
but as you continue, you need to build that community, that support system of mujeres, not only to bring to fill your cup, to fill you up because you're empowered through all the women around you, but also because I need to build and accomplish these ideas because they're worthy of being out in the world. So, how do I
Mhm.
do that? Let me support other women in the community to also do the things that they're really good at because I'm not. And if I do those things that I'm not really passionate about, I will deplete myself and I will run out of gas.
Mm.
So let me build that instead. So knowing to delegate is very important.
Yeah. Thank you so much for highlighting how you recognize the hyper focus with some ideas and the creativity that comes as one of the strengths with ADHD allows you to be able to have this plethora of options about what you want your business to look like. And then the challenge being that the overwhelmingness comes through. And then the way that I hear you be able to manage that overwhelmed feeling is recognizing that rest is important, right? Because if we don't rest, we burn ourselves out. It doesn't matter how much we love our job, we need breaks from it. And then also delegating tasks. I love that. That's a really important strategy because you're right. Like, you go back to your why is what I'm hearing. You go back to like, why am I doing this business?
Yes.
It's to support other mujeres and create that community. So your why is what's leading you to go into this direction of, okay, if I want to build this community and support other mujeres, I'm going to do it by delegating tasks and let them do their thing because they are their experts in their own fields. So I think that's so wonderful that you've been able to think about it that way and maneuver your business in that direction. So I wanted to lead us to our last question. Your business mission focuses on creating a support system for mujeres to express themselves and grow. What advice would you give to other Latina folks with ADHD looking to start their own businesses?
So as you mentioned, a support system of mujeres is key for my mission. And so what I hope for myself and for others is to constantly challenge ourselves, never lose our curiosity, and to have the courage to try something new. So that kind of gives you an idea of what I want for myself, but what I want for my community. So my advice then for these women is just that. You're seeking to go in the entrepreneur route. First, let's start with discovering yourself. Like, how do you know exactly where your niche is or where your avenue will take you if you don't maybe first get back to your inner mija, look inside, look at yourself, and take that time to discover who you are, what do you like? Because if you are going to pursue entrepreneurship, like, you're going to go through some rough times, right? And some ups and downs, and it has to come. Your entrepreneur journey has to have that mission, that why that gets you back there constantly. And until you know that for yourself, will you then, be able to continue through the ups and downs. And curiosity, first of all, that is something that I promote because discovering new things, trying new things, this only helps you know who you are, and it gets you to try new things and get to know other people's perspectives on that, get to grow with the community around you. I have so many now women in my community, mujeres, that are so different from me, yet we have this common thread still because I got that urge to go meet them. I got the, hey, you want to do a cafecito chat? Connect with me.
Yes, I
And
remember when we did ours.
yeah, like exactly. That's exactly how we connect. And that's what I start with to fuel my week is, okay, let me connect with mujer. I don't even know you. You're in LA. I had one in the Netherlands. It was amazing. And
Wow.
yeah, and so like with my curiosity, getting to know them, that then teaches me something about that individual or whatnot. And let's say you go into entrepreneurship, well, you need to know your customer, you need to know your client. So who is that? Go reach out to them, talk to them, enjoy company with them. And I know for sure, I know in our talk, like you and I both left there fueled. I know I was
Yes.
in my most creative sense of self because like I had filled my cup with conversation
Yeah.
with you.
Yeah, it did feel good. I feel like
Mhm.
after those conversations, it's giving just the opportunity to connect with somebody who's you have something similar and you're both feeling very passionate and empowered. And so yeah, I don't see how somebody couldn't leave that cafecito session with you not inspired and just wanting to move forward with like, all right, what more does the
Yeah,
day have to bring?
yeah, yeah. And thank you. And that's it. It's okay to discover yourself first. And then once you do find that little piece, that niche, or that thing that you're like, oh, yes, this is how I want to pursue. Remember, you don't have to do that forever. Okay.
That's right.
The pivot is okay. The change. We are ADHDers. I want to change. I love change, actually. I love going new places, trying new things. I love these things because it's part of who I am. And I don't want to do the same routine every day. and that's okay. So build a business in which you can do different things. And for me, the DIY workshops, for example, as one of the branches of my business, I get to do different crafts. So I get to bring to you a different craft. I don't have to be making, and not that this is wrong, but for an ADHD, I'm not making the same jewelry constantly. I'm just making jewelry. No, I get to, okay, today I want to do a flower crown. The next day I want to paint a Milagros heart. The next workshop I want to paint an alebrije. So
Many
build your
options.
business. I know. So build your business with the ability to adapt and change and pivot, even if it's just not what is filling your cup anymore.
Thank you so much for that advice. I think it's so wonderful to hear about the importance of curiosity, finding that niche, and being okay and comfortable with pivoting, and just how you've been using your ADHD strengths in a way that fit your business. And yeah, thank you so much. I want to ask you, what is the way that our listeners can get in contact with you, and if you have any offerings?
Yeah, so thank you. So the way you can connect with me is online. You can go to my website at soleilvidastudio.com. You can also go on Instagram, Soleil Vida Studio. I am predominantly on social media through that Instagram portal. But also, please go to Instagram or my website and sign up for a support system of Mujeres Cafecito chat, because I love to connect. I love to communicate with anyone. Again, one of the things I think about is, okay, we're not in high school anymore. I don't have to convivir and connect with necessarily just the people in this area in my neighborhood. I get to explore all different people of different backgrounds, of different places. So please go get a call. It's free. It's great fun, and it's just a way to get to know each other better. So I would love to connect with you there.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing what some ways are for people to connect with you, and knowing that, yeah, you have so many different offerings out there, including those one-on-one connections with you, in addition to all the amazing projects that you have going on with your business.
Yes, yes. Yeah, if you're local to the DFW area, I do in-person workshops currently. So that looks like going to a corporate setting, going to conferences. And these are the things that just bring me joy. Yeah, if you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, reach out.
Thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I have that information of how to contact you through our show notes for our listeners. And have a great rest of your day, Ursula.
Thank you.
It was such a pleasure to have Ursula on the Latine ADHD podcast. I really appreciated how authentic she was in sharing with us about her journey with ADHD, the challenges that came up that led her to go get tested, and then just how she navigated once she got the diagnosis, giving herself the time that she needed and being able to figure out how she wanted to move forward in life and how it is okay to pivot. And I really appreciated that as another business owner. So it was so wonderful to have another jefa on the episode. And as a reminder, if you are somebody with ADHD and you are interested in wanting to share your journey with us, please feel free to fill out the Google form that is in the show notes, or you can go to my website at www.drjanicecastro.com. And as a reminder, this is not a replacement for therapy, but I am so happy that y'all take the time to listen. Take care.